Mr. Chandra Arya has always worked to improve the lives of those around him. His passion to serve the community and strengthen the middle class
Mr. Chandra
motivated him to enter politics with three main objectives: affordable housing for all, providing retirement income security to 11 million working Canadians without workplace pensions, and ensure Canadian society and economy remain robust and competitive, thus securing prosperity for our children and grandchildren. Mr. Chandra holds a bachelor degree in engineering and a master degree in business administration. We are extremely proud to have him share his insights with us today.
Hello, Namaskar. I'm Chandra Arya, member of Canadian Parliament from the riding called Nepean. Uh, at the outset, I would like to thank Professor Simrit Kaur, the principal of Sri Ram College of Commerce, for inviting me to speak at this SRCC Business Conclave 2021. I've been asked to speak on three things. One, my journey so far. Second, the role of youth in politics. And third, my message to the youth of India. My journey started in India. I was born in a village in the state of Karnataka in Tumkur district. Uh, I grew up all over Karnataka. My dad was a civil servant working for the government of Karnataka. So every 3 years we used to move from place to place as and when he gets transferred. So I had my education in 7 or 8 different places in Karnataka. I had my engineering degree from Bangalore University and my MBA from Karnataka University. When I speak here in Canada, whenever I speak to Indo-Canadians, I will always remind them that I am a product of Canada. I am what I am today is due to the education that was provided by India to people like me, highly subsidized cost that made us possible for many of us to get excellent education. And there is no better asset, there's no more valuable asset than the education. This asset will keep on giving returns over a period of time. And I started my professional journey in India as an engineer. Then I was in a developmental financial institution financing mostly small side businesses. Then I had my own small manufacturing company in Karnataka. After that, I helped set up industrial projects in 6 GCC countries in the Middle East. From then, I moved to Canada. I became an investment advisor at one of the banks, major banks in Canada. From there, I transitioned into a high technology company in digital signal processing as an executive. And from there, I moved into politics. So I have had, you know, exposure to different professions, different societies, different cultures, and with all that differences, knowledge I gained through all these different kinds of activities, the places I've been in. With that, I have now become a member of parliament. Uh, when I came to Canada, I think about 18 years back. And within 4 or 5 years of my arrival here, I became the citizen. And within 7 years after I became the citizen, I was elected as the member of parliament. So you can imagine, I'm talking just about 12, 13 years since I came to this country that I became a member of parliament, and this can happen only in a country like Canada, which accept people of all different background, all different ethnicity, all different faith from all across the world, and we all become Canadians, and every one of us have the same equal opportunities to become whatever we want to become. It didn't happen automatically, it didn't happen easily. After I came to Canada, like I was always what I was doing in India, I was always been involved in community activities. I was always volunteered with various organizations. The same thing continued in Canada, where I worked with Immigrant Services Organization. I worked with an affordable housing corporation, and I was part of many Indo-Canadian organizations. I was on the board of Economic Development Agency of the City of Ottawa. So I was involved in varieties of community activities, and that gave me a base to enter into politics. And that is how I am in politics and continue to be so. The second part of the topic I was asked to speak is the role of youth in politics. You know, whenever you speak to the people of my age, or the people, seniors, whether in Canada, probably in India too, you will hear, oh, the young people, young Canadians here, or the youth in India, they are not active in politics. They don't vote during the elections. But if you ask me, there's a misconception. The social media has made it possible for the youth, whether in Canada or in India, to get more actively involved in politics. The knowledge base has spread so much. Let's take the voting turnout in my constituency, which we call riding. In my riding in Nepean, the turnout in the last elections in 2019 was 75%. Uh, Recently, I heard the village where I grew up, that assembly constituency, had its by-election few months back. And I'm told the turnout there was over 80%. So the question is, when we have the turnout of 75% here, or the turnout of 80% in one of the by-elections in India, it only shows that youth are there actively involved in politics, including the electoral politics, and participate in elections. I have to say that it is the social media that has given a lot of a medium, a way for the youth to get involved in politics. So I'm glad that it is happening. It is way different than what it was when we were younger. On my message to youth in India, let me start with something. The changing economic scenario across the world. The global economy is going towards the knowledge based economy. The artificial intelligence, the robotics, the automation, they are creating a huge impacts across the world. In this knowledge based economy, in the globalized knowledge based economy, it's a flat world out there. The youth in Canada, say in Ottawa, Toronto, Montreal in Canada, or the youth in Sydney, Australia, or the youth in Shanghai, China, or the youth in Mumbai, Delhi, or Bangalore in India, they're all competing in this knowledge based economy. It is a flat world out there. The youth have to think in terms of, to put it in a very simple way, as a global citizen, to understand what is happening across the world and to find their role, their footing in that globalized economy. When we are growing up, let me say this: knowledge, as some well known person said, knowledge is of two kinds. One, what we know. Number two, what we don't know, but we know where to find information on. See, knowledge has got two components: one, what we know, and where to access it. When we were growing up, the knowledge was basically limited what we knew or what we learned from the people who knew, because the information availability was limited, Even with the libraries, with the books available, the accessibility to the information was quite limited. I remember during my MBA days, to find one trade magazine, an international trade magazine, it was a wealth of information for us. There were very limited business publications in India then. But today, the knowledge, the availability of knowledge has expanded because of the accessibility to the information where you can find it, thanks to internet, thanks to online publication. Today, the youth in India have got the same level of access to the information as the youth in Canada, in the US, or in UK. So that has created a level playing field. However, with the same level playing field comes an increased competition. Gone are the days when the Western countries had the advantage of the richness of their communities, richness of their societies, the advanced knowledge they have had an upper hand versus the people in the developing world who did not have the same level of access to the knowledge nor the level of richness that would contribute uh, to a competitive strength. Today, we are all on the same page. So, the youth of India, my only message is that remember, you are not just in India, you are in a globalized world, in a globalized knowledge based economy. So, what you do there, what you can create there, it can impact not just in India but across the world. So, all I am saying is that think yourself as global citizens and then open your eyes, and that's what you see is that's where you are. Thank you so much again for inviting me to this SRCC Business Conclave 2021 and making me part of this. Thank you again. Bye.
It was indeed a very enriching and a fruitful session. We are honored to be in the presence of such an eminent personality. I express my heartfelt gratitude to Mr. Chandra for sharing his valuable insights on various important topics like social media importance in politics and how global economy has been affected due to evolution of technology. I'm sure that all the students present here are highly motivated by his words. I thank him once again for his valuable time and the views he has shared with us.